welcome to everyone here in the sanctuary and in Zoomlandia and on YouTube. I'm Kay Fuller, and I will be serving as your platform assistant today. Let's begin by reading our mission statement together. Unity of Charlotte is the place where we nurture a deep and mature experience of God through the practice of unity principles. Simply put, we are here to love, grow, and serve. If you are here for the first time, we want you to know that wherever you are on your spiritual journey, we support you. And is there anybody new here so we can give you a welcome packet? Okay. Thank you. Let's take this opportunity to close our eyes and open our hearts and take a deep breath together. And just as you exhale, let go of all the busyness and the Christmas to-do list. Father, Mother God, we are so grateful to have this sanctuary as a meeting place. A place where we can gather with like-minded people and learn from each other so that we may represent you as a light in this world. A place where we can learn to remove the blocks that keep us from being all that we were created to be. Each one of us here is a minister to others in our everyday life. Let it be our intention to develop compassion and to realize our oneness. We send thoughts of healing to our brothers and sisters around the world. May they feel our prayer and the love we all share. And together we say, Amen. Let's read together our statement of oneness. There is one presence and one power in my life and universe, God, the good omnipotence. And centering back in with that prayerful state, we invite you to speak any names or prayers you would like, either silently or softly, as our prayer time continues. As we allow these names and prayers to continue, we give thanks for answered prayer, and we say, thank you, God. If you or a loved one is in need of prayer, please reach out to us. There are links and phone numbers on our website, and you can call Silent Unity anytime, day or night, 800-NOW-PRAY. And now we have our daily word readers, Jenny and Margarita.
Peace. Peace is the song of my heart. As the Advent journey continues, I seek to embody peace. No matter what might be happening around me now, I can rise above that which troubles and distracts me, all that takes away my attention from my spiritual life and my relationship with God. Peace is always mine, an aspect of my divine identity. When peace feels far away, I take it as a cue to center myself in spirit. I return to the practices that calm my mind and open my heart. As I relax and enter the silence, I touch the peace of perfection and claim that peace as my own. Returning to activity, I carry peace with me. I bring harmony to my interactions, calm to my reactions, and tranquility to every corner of my life. I won't be peaceful, I will be peace itself. May mercy, peace, and love be yours in abundance. Jude 1:2.
La paz es la melodía de mi corazón. Durante mi viaje de Adviento, mi propósito es cultivar la paz. Sea lo que sea que ocurra a mi alrededor, puedo elevarme por encima de las preocupaciones y distracciones que desvían mi atención de lo espiritual y de mi conexión con Dios. La paz es parte de mi identidad divina. Cuando siento que la paz se aleja, lo considero una señal para centrarme en el espíritu. Retomo prácticas que calman mi mente y abren mi corazón. Al relajarme y entrar en el silencio, encuentro la paz y la perfección de Dios y las hago mías. Llevo esa paz conmigo al volver a mi rutina diaria. Traigo armonía a mis interacciones, calma a mis reacciones y tranquilidad a cada aspecto de mi vida. No solo seré pacífico, sino que me convertiré en la paz misma. Que la misericordia, la paz y el amor abunden en ustedes. Judas 1:2.
Good morning. There I go. That sounds better. Yeah, good afternoon. It is, I know. Well, you know, it's a nice long morning, and I appreciate that. Surprise, I'm here today. We send out some prayers of love and healing to our Revs. Rev Lisa, who is who is on Zoom right now. Alan is giving me the heads up that I'm being monitored. As they recover and take a little time to recuperate and be ready to come back with us soon for the party, for the remembrance service and such. So, hi there. I also want to say thanks to everyone that joined us for the Christmas party last night. Yeah, that was a good party. I want to thank Adrian, who was my helper for getting that together and who must be kind of partied out because I don't see her. And everyone that helped put things away afterwards. Just a big word of thanks. It goes to show we can do things easily and quickly, even on fairly short notice. So, well, anyway, today happens to be the second Sunday in Advent, our journey toward Christmas. Christmas being the birth, well, celebrating the birth of Jesus first, and secondly, in our case particularly, celebrating the birth or the reawakening of us to the Christ nature within us. And so, I'm going to look at that today a little bit, that second Sunday in Advent, as we wake up to that inner divine. That's our process, the divine in me, the divine in you, the divine in the person right beside you, that in unity we refer to as the Christ within. In the gospel, in the Gospels, we see Paul referring to it when he speaks of Christ in you, the hope of glory. Christ in you, the hope of glory. That happened to be Charles Fillmore's favorite Bible quote. If you go to the old downtown Unity Church in Kansas City, on the back of the Fillmore Chapel wall, you will see that in huge letters, Christ in you, the hope of glory. And since we're talking about Christmas and about Christ, I need to clarify one thing at the very, very beginning. Christ was not Jesus' last name, right? Well, I mean, you know, it is actually not a name. Christ is a Greek word that is used to translate the Hebrew word, Hebrew being the sacred language of Jesus and his time, translate the Hebrew word Messiah. And to the best of my reading, the word Messiah refers to whatever is blessed or anointed by God. And you'll find if you read Scripture, you'll find a lot of things that are blessed or anointed. Messiah, blessed by God. So in that relationship, it's the Jesus that was blessed by God and the part in you and me that our Creator loved and blessed. It's what I like to say, it's what God sees when God looks at us, using that metaphorically. It is what is seen in us. It's the self created by your Creator, which is eternally peaceful, loving, empowered, radiating our Creator's love and power. So, Christmas, the rebirth of that Messiah or Christ in us, is the rebirth of the awareness that it's there. I don't know about you guys, but in our very busy world, we tend to totally overlook that. We're so busy doing things, thinking about things, planning things, thinking about all that, that we miss it. And so the rebirth of Christ within us, the birth of Christ within us, which is actually a rebirth, been there all along. That's what's going on. And that's why Jesus could say, the kingdom of heaven is at hand. I like to say always at hand, because here we are, creations with that inner divinity living in us, even if we've overlooked it for years, even if we've overlooked it for lifetimes. It doesn't go anywhere. I believe, and I've heard it said, that that is actually the greater part of us, which is interesting because we kind of don't notice it all that often. Anyway, well, I like to think of the 4 weeks of Advent as 4 steps toward reconnecting with that inner divinity, with that inner Christ, with that consciousness. It begins in mind, it begins in consciousness, and moves itself out as we take the steps. The steps lead us from our current, maybe dim awareness of it, occasional awareness of it, to a more prolonged and profound experience of that. So last week we started with hope and faith. Okay? Hope is our ability to imagine that maybe there's something higher or greater than what I'm currently experiencing. That's an important step. Something profoundly loving and powerful, something that maybe transcends what I'm experiencing right now. Transcends, I like that word because it sounds like you're talking about ending the trance. Trance ends our current way of living and thinking and being. So faith, that's hope. Faith is our ability, faith is our actual innate ability to inwardly trust that not only are the things we can't currently see possible, but they're actually present. They're actually available. And so the beginnings of Advent is working with hope and faith. We read about what others have said about it. We read about others' experiences. Maybe we notice in ourselves some of those little things that have happened where we've gotten that little glimpse that there's something more going on. Coincidences, little experiences within us. I got a clever one on Wednesday. Wednesday afternoon, I got a text from Jim and Lisa saying, we can't be out around people, but we would like you to do the service. And of course, being a minister and being offered a microphone, I said, yes, of course. So anyway, I got that in the afternoon. Later in the evening, I opened my year-end giving letter from the church. You guys probably got a year-end giving letter, and in my year-end giving letter was a little Christmas decoration. What did mine say? Peace. Of course, the topic I had just been asked to talk about just a few hours earlier. Now, that may seem very small, but I will tell you, if you notice the small things, the small coincidences, and you work on that, the big ones will start showing up more and more and more. And that is a very interesting thing. That helps develop faith. That's part of how we do it. So, on to peace, because that's the topic for today. That's the topic for today. In this world, we tend to think about peace as the absence of conflict or tension, right? I go to work and there's no tension and there's no conflict. It's peaceful. I'm with my family over the holidays, and we do it gently without rubbing up against each other. It was very nice. It was a very peaceful time being together. So we do that, or I hate to say it, for some people on this planet, peace is simply the absence of active war, active conflict. That's their hope for peace, right? But each of those is a kind of peace. Peace where we work, peace, maybe peace in our little minds. That's a kind of peace. But it's not the peace we're actually moving toward in Advent. I want to make that clear. There is a greater peace that is possible, a profound peace that the rebirth or the reconnection with that inner divinity brings. So let me just ask you guys, how many of you have at some time, maybe even recently, maybe in the past, felt some sense of peace, some connection with peace, maybe when you're walking in nature or you're in a chapel or just some quiet? How many of you have actually felt that peace, some kind of peace present? I suspect that everybody has in some way. Now, here's the tricky question. If you were out walking in nature and you felt that peace, was that peace hiding behind a tree, waiting for you to come out so it could jump on you out there? Was the peace hiding, lurking, waiting? Right? Where did it come from? If you were with your family, was the peace hiding in the back of the room or behind the door or something, waiting till you showed up and there it was? Or if you come in here and you feel a sense of peace, is that what's over in that closet and it kind of sneaks out on us and suddenly there's peace? Well, you can probably guess by the way I'm asking that I don't think that's the case. Because I think that peace that we feel in all those situations actually enters those places with us. Yes, there is an energy of peace if you've had enough, like in a place like this, you can feel it. But how about the peace you feel? Is it lurking here to jump on you? Or is this simply a place that makes it easy for you to feel? The peace that walked in with you. The peace that walked in with you when you came in. Having had some experiences of what felt like pretty profound peace in my life, in various situations, like the middle of a general staff meeting at the former business I worked for, or in the middle of a training seminar, workshop training seminar, not affiliated with church. I kind of get the sense that the common factor in all those experiences and the people I've talked with is that Christ within us. That's the common factor that leads to the presence of peace. Not the place, not what's being talked about, but what's inside us. So here's the bad news. It's not your brilliant intellect that brings that. It's not all those books you've read. It's not all the time you've spent sitting in meditation. What gets you there is what's already inside. What we're going to celebrate the rebirth of at Christmas, right? That Christ nature within you. It's able to transcend all kinds of situations and problems. It can even transcend our little chatty human minds. That's a pretty big miracle if you think about that, if you watch your little mind. Well, we all have some brief, sometimes powerful experiences. Some of you may have had some pretty powerful experiences of peace or that inner Christ, because as I say, it's with us all the time. It is, as I really believe, that what we call the Christ within, which sounds like something within us, making us the bigger part, right? Think about that, the way we word it. It really is, that is the bigger part. That is the greater part. That is the part with the power. I think of these little experiences that come up as little nudges from that inner Christ. Hey, still here, waiting for you, buddy. Whenever you're willing to pay attention, whenever you're willing to notice, here. So Advent invites us to build a relationship with peace and quiet and openness, which is an important step in preparing for the birth of the awareness of that Christ. Preparing for that birth. So, one thing I will mention, please understand that your mind, your little busy mind, my little busy mind, probably won't stop chattering at us. Just because we decided that this week our Advent word is peace, and we're going to sit and we're going to be peaceful, and we're going to, we're going to walk in nature, or we're going to do this, or we're going to do that. The little mind it's not going to go, okay, Jim, I won't chatter anymore. But here's the thing. Once we learn to not struggle against the chatter, or not struggle against the distraction, once we learn not to fight with it, to simply focus on what we want to focus on and not fight, then we have an opportunity to experience some more of that peace, that Advent peace. You can become more interested in your breath, your peace, or the word peace, or an affirmation, whatever it takes you to kind of calm down and not struggle. Because you want peace, not struggle. You want peace, not struggle. Kay and I were at a meditation workshop a number of years ago with Sharon Salzberg, a teacher, and she used a great metaphor that I really liked, that's really stuck with me. She talks about when we're trying to center and quiet. She talks about being in a busy train station, and you're looking out across the crowd, and you're looking for your friends that you're going to meet. You're looking for your friend. In this case, your friend is peace. But in the train station metaphor, you're looking across the train station. Train station is full of people. It's busy. It's noisy. There's all this going on. But your attention is on, yeah, there's my friend right there. Right there. There's my friend. And so the noise and the distraction is secondary because your attention is on what you're looking for. Your attention is on peace. I like the analogy because I can relate to that one. Busy, crowded place, busy, crowded mind. My attention is on my friend. It's on peace. It's a practice of focus and patience and love. And with commitment and practice, it gets easier to stay focused on your friend and not get distracted by the signs over here or what the people over here are doing. I'm focused on my friend. I'm focused, in this case, on peace. And then we begin to experience more of that. I love how, another person I love as a teacher is Eckhart Tolle. I've heard him say talk about several times, the peace that passes all understanding, I add the word human to it. The Bible verse is actually the peace that passes all understanding. That's Paul. I add human understanding to that. And I love Eckhart's comment because he talks about what we do to find peace and to... And he says, at points, that peace comes along and we don't understand where it came from. We don't understand what it is. We can't figure it out. We can't make it happen. And yet, there it is. Right there. Peace that passes my human understanding, but is very real, is very powerful. He talks about it as the stillness often. That stillness that is there, despite what's going on. I don't understand it, but yet, here it is. Here it is. Right here. So, the second step in the Advent process, the four-step Advent process, focuses on peace. To actively look for, to actively welcome, to actively appreciate even small moments of peace, even small feelings. We intentionally bring some calm to our bodies, to our minds. We create some space for that to happen. We create that, and then what we find is, as we do that, we get longer experiences of that because we've really learned to focus. And as our commitment becomes more and more complete, and that, to my way of thinking, really is the bottom line with this whole process, How complete is my commitment to actually connecting with that peace that is here in this room right now, that is here within each one of us right now, here within myself right now? And then we begin to feel that peace moving and showing up more and more frequently, more and more powerfully. Because believe it or not, real peace, deep peace, is an extremely powerful thing. It's not something wishy-washy. It is extremely powerful. So at Advent, we have hope, we have faith, and now we work on actively nurturing, welcoming peace. Peace in this week. We don't need perfect calm, we don't need perfect quiet in order for that peace to begin showing up. That's an important thing to remember. It doesn't have to. If the only way you can find peace is in a perfect situation, start working on it in some others so you can learn to do it in others. We don't have to have perfect peace around us to feel peace. A couple thousand years ago, Jesus, whose birthday we'll be celebrating soon, experienced and shared a deep and profound peace that impacted all those around him. In a very all-encompassing manner, he experienced that right in the middle of a situation that, from my reading of history, was extremely similar to what we're seeing in Palestine on the news right now. That was what was going on around him when he made that deep connection that is put in our Christmas stories and our Jesus stories by the baptism thing, when he realizes what he is, right? When he hears and realizes who and what he is. Happens in the middle of a situation that is remarkably similar to what's going on in Palestine right now. So you don't have to have a perfect world to experience peace, to connect with who you are. You know, Eckhart Tolle experienced it in the middle of ongoing, long, deep depression and literally suicidal anxiety. Till the day he heard himself say, "I can't live with myself anymore." And then that brought up the question from inside, who's the self I can't live with? And that began his trigger for a movement into deep peace and sharing that. Others, like the meditation teacher Sharon Salzberg, and you and I, are learning to do it in less dramatic ways. We don't have to have a lot of drama to have that movement into that. We can do it through our spiritual practices. We can do it through coming together in community for prayer and meditation. Yes, ma'am. I see that word going on lips over there. We can do it gently, so that as we focus on that peace and as we focus on what we want, what we see across the lobby, that our friend that we're focusing our attention on, we get more and more and more of that. And it begins to shine through us individually more clearly. It shines into our minds and it shines for those around us. So, as a primary tool, I've used many spiritual practices, obviously, over the years. As a primary tool, though, for many years, I've been using A Course in Miracles. And so I'm looking for an affirmation for today. And I look to the Course. Of course, well, actually, I don't look to the Course. It just jumps into my head. And the affirmation is, the peace of God is shining in me now. The peace of God is shining in me now. Will you say that with me? The peace of God is shining in me now. One more time. The peace of God is shining in me now. Here's just a little bit of the reading that goes along with that affirmation. Why wait for heaven? Those who seek the light are merely covering their eyes. The light is in them now. Enlightenment is but a recognition, not a change at all. That light is not of the world, and you who bear the light in you are alien here as well. The light came with you from your native home and stayed with you because it is your own. It is the only thing you bring with you from Him who is your source. It shines in you because it lights your home and leads you back to where it came from and where you are at home. So I'm going to invite us to use this image of the peace of God shining in me now as we prepare to move into our time of meditation. So I will invite you to just find a comfortable position so that your body is upright and supported. You want to remain alert, but relaxed. Allow your eyes to gently close or your gaze to focus softly downward. Take a couple nice, smooth breaths as we allow the thought, the peace of God is shining in me now. The peace of God with each and every breath, with each and every moment. The peace of God is shining in me now. Couple more nice breaths. The peace of God shining in me now as we move into the silence. Continuing. The peace of God shining in me. Hear that for yourself. The peace of God shining in me now. We hold that for just a little longer. Peace shining in our hearts and our minds, radiating from that divine, that Christ center within us, the greater part of our being, the truth of who and what we are and always have been. For that growing awareness, may we feel thanks and gratitude in our hearts. And I'll invite you to come back whenever you're ready. We're now going to move into the time of our service where we have an opportunity to share an offering. I'll let our ushers begin to get themselves ready. Before we do that, though, we're going to share an offering blessing, and I just want to share a little reminder from a minister that was here many years ago who talked about why we actively support prayer, why we actively support our church. He said, to quote Randolph Wilkinson, "We do it out of enlightened self-interest. Because by doing this, we are able to gather here, we're able to share these Zooms, we're able to share these messages, we're able to share these experiences that help us deepen that peace and move into that greater self that we are. We further this work out of enlightened self-interest." So I'll invite you to take whatever you, I'll invite you to take whatever you brought for your offering. Mine ends up coming off electronically, so I bless this. And together we say, joyously, I give this gift, knowing the divine presence blesses and multiplies all that I am, all that I have, all that I give, and all that I receive. Thank you, God. The light of God surrounds us. We are light. The love of God enfolds us. We are love. The power of God protects us. We are empowered. The presence of God watches over us. We are presence. Wherever we are, God is, and all is well.